Hi, it's Dr. Weideman again, and I'm going to show you how to use statcrunch to work some problems from Chapter 16. And this is the first time that we're doing inferential statistics, and we're learning how to create confidence intervals for proportions. So the first question I'm going to look at is a poll taken this year asked 1,033 adults whether they were fans of a particular sport, and 42% said they were. Last year, 41% of a similar size sample reported being fans. And we're just going to work on the first part here. The other parts are interpretive. Find the margin of error for the poll taken if one wants to be 95% confident in the estimate. So to do this, I need to find the confidence interval. So the important things that I need from here are the proportion, and we're going to talk about this year, so it's 42%, and I need the sample size. And remember, for me to work this kind of a problem, I need the successes. And so if we remember the successes, I don't know why my thing is not cooperating here, but your successes are calculated by taking the proportion, which is, oh, I'm on the wrong one. Sorry about that. I'm trying to stay up here and it just doesn't want to cooperate. So the successes for this problem are going to be the proportion that we're looking at, which is 42% times the sample size. And so when I calculate that on my calculator, I get 433.86, so I'm going to round it up to 434. So I need that, and I need the sample size, and I also need the confidence level when I go to StatCrunch. So I'm going to go ahead and open StatCrunch, and I'm going to go to Stat, and I'm going to go to Proportion Statistics, one sample with summary. Okay, so I need that successes again that I just calculated, 434, and my sample size was 1033. And right now we're just going to be doing a confidence interval, and if it was anything different than 0.95, you would go ahead and put that in there. All right, so here's what I've gotten, and I'm going to go ahead and just snip this and bring it over to the little file that we were working on before, so we can take a look at the results here. So what do we have here? Our confidence interval goes from, the lower bound is 0.390. I'm going to put it in here, so 95% confidence. It'd be helpful if I could type. Interval goes from 0.390 up to 0.450. And the reason I'm only taking 3 decimal places is because that's how they ask the answer for how he asks you to do the answer is find it at 3 decimals. So they want you to find the margin of error. So if you remember, margin of error was simply equal to 1/2 the width of the confidence interval. So in my case here, I'm going to take 0.450, subtract 0.390, and divide by 2. Okay, so on my trusty calculator, I come up with 0.30, so 3% if I change it to percentages. So the margin of error for this particular problem is 3%. All right, so let's go to the next problem that I was going to do today, and that was actually finding a confidence interval, similar to what we just did. And again, we still need the successes, right? We don't have the successes here. So you always need the successes to go into the tool. So I've got, what's my proportion here? 19%, and my sample size was 575. And so again, if I go ahead and multiply, I get successes of 109. So 109 out of the 575 broiler chickens were infected. And they want us to do a 90% confidence interval. So I need the successes, I need the sample size, and I need the confidence level. So again, I'm going to go into StatCrunch. I'm going to go to Stat, Proportion Statistics, one sample with a summary. And remember, my successes were 109. My observations were 575, my sample size. And again, this one was a confidence interval, and we want to adjust it to 90% rather than 95%. Okay, so again, I'm going to snip this and bring it on over to the little page where we're working so we can talk about our results. And so we've gotten the 95% confidence interval is going to go 95%. I'm just going to abbreviate CI, confidence interval. So it goes from 0.16, I'll just round it to 3 decimals, So 16.3% up to 0.216. So there's my 90, I'm sorry, this is a 90% confidence interval. Okay, so that should help you get started, and working with StatCrunch is a whole lot easier than trying to do all the calculations by hand. So I hope you find this helpful.